Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Weekly, we talk about being parents, what happened that week. It's basically our therapy session to vent out everything that we went through. We are boy parents. We have 3 boys, Enzo, Rhett, and Arlo. And if you'd like to get to know us a little bit better, you can check out our website, freezermilk.com, or follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. We also have YouTube and TikTok, Freezer Milk. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Getting excited, getting closer to our move, our grand adventure.
It is really exciting.
Yeah, we've been busy.
I feel like it's been a lot of running nonstop.
Yeah, it's been very exhausting.
Full tilt.
Yeah, we've kind of been at each other recently.
A little bit.
I think the stress has gotten to us, or at least me. You're normally on an even keel. I'm the one that gets stressed out. Although, when you get stressed out, I really know, and then I get really stressed out.
Because it makes you worried.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, Bridget's stressed.
Well,
Shit's got to be bad.
It was like today, we had a pretty difficult conversation regarding... Because we were sitting on the couch with the kids, and we had taken them to the aquarium today, and we're just trying to keep them occupied. But it's so hot here in Arizona, you can't go outside. Like,
It was, like 113 today?
Yeah, it was 113 degrees outside. You can't do anything with kids, so you're stuck inside, like, all day. So we decided to take them out to the aquarium, and we got home, and...
Even splash pads are too hot at that point.
Oh, yeah. It's not safe for anybody. But,
We got home.
Yeah, we got home, and...
Rhett was napping.
Rhett was napping, so I was like, I don't know what I said, but I was like, I think I said something along the lines of I'm burnt, or I said that I
need a break.
I need a break, and that...
You're like, I need a break. I'm going to see if our nanny's available to come babysit. I'm so tired of being on all the time. Like, it's exhausting. I just need a break. I'm on all the time.
That's not how it, but okay. That's not exactly what I said. But yeah, anyway... So I texted Annie thinking, spontaneous date night. Me and you could go out, go to a movie, or go get dinner, or go to some of the stores that you wanted to go to. Just give us some time. But it triggered something in you, and you got extremely emotional. So we had to have a pretty tough conversation regarding that. Yeah.
So, you didn't say, like, let's do a spontaneous date. You were just like, I need a break. I'm going to see if she's available. I've just been on. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't say anything. I was like, okay. And then, you're, like, looking up movies or something. And I was like, I don't really want to do a movie. And you're like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. You're like, what's on your mind? I'm like, nothing. You're like, Bridget, just out with it. And I was like, it's not good. You're like, well, let me have it. And I told you, and it took me a while to get there because I hit a couple different, like, emotional levels, but I think I started with, like, it kind of makes me, like, sad that you get burnout on our kids. Because, like, we signed up for that.
Yeah.
And then I started feeling, and I even said to you, like, I feel something bubbling up in me. Do you remember me saying that? Mm-hmm. I was like, I feel something bubbling up in me. Like, I feel like a trauma surfacing. And I know it is not related to you, but, like, I feel this trauma surfacing. And then, like, I started, like, weeping. Like, my body was just like, hey, we're going to have a quick, like, trauma release real quick. And that kind of brought to surface that and it took me a while to get to the statement, but the trauma, like, reaction I was feeling was abandonment, like a fear of abandonment, and not necessarily towards you. It was just similar actions triggered, like, a red flag within me, and a trauma response within me that I've been abandoned before in my life when it became too much for people. And I think it bubbled up this reaction in me of, and I think I said to you, I feel like this is my fault that I didn't fully prepare you or help you understand that having 2 under the age of 3 means we are on all the time. And that, like, that was really hard for me to say. How did you feel when I said that?
Oh, it made me feel like a piece of shit. Are you serious? I was like, oh, great. Yeah, you're a fucking failure. But I also was like defensive because I was like, that's not exactly what I meant by it. Like, because you went into a thing about this takes me down a road of, oh, great, he's burnt out, he's gonna walk.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's a little extreme.
I said, I have never thought about walking. And then you're like, it makes me feel like you regret having kids. And I told you, I said, there are moments when my son, who is 2 years old, 2.5 years old, is screaming in the bathtub, throwing things in complete fucking anger, just completely unsettled, where I regret in that moment. And then it quickly goes away, and he does something cute, and I'm back to where I was.
Yeah.
So I have moments of regret. Do I overall regret? I don't. But you had mentioned that you were like, it just makes me feel like you're just going to walk. And I'm like, have I ever given you the inclination that I was going to walk from this, what we have going on here? I mean, I'm literally packing up. I've lived in Arizona my entire life, and I'm packing all of my shit, throwing it on a truck and moving to a place I've been twice in my life, and I haven't really spent a whole lot of time with you.
I think I clarified, like, it wasn't directed, it's weird to say it wasn't directed at you. It was and that's where I was having a really hard time trying to, and even now, like, I'm still struggling to be able to, like, properly convey my thoughts into words, but it wasn't necessarily a specific I feel like you are going to walk. It was this is causing a reaction in me where my body assumes I will be abandoned. And it has really probably not a whole lot to do with you. It's just my past and my history of times in my life where I have been abandoned was when people similarly felt stressed and similarly felt like it was a lot and similarly felt burnt out and needing a break.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I think that's what it really, it trickled down to, is like I somehow felt like this was like this guilt of like I didn't do enough to prepare you, and I somehow fooled you into thinking having 2 small kids would be a walk in the park, and I've tricked you now, and you're gonna harbor like a resentment towards me because of it.
Well, first off, it was, and that's what I, kind of told you. I said, first off, it wasn't your responsibility to get me ready for all this. Yeah. I made the decision too.
Yeah.
And again, it isn't easy. Anybody that has fucking kids understands how fucking hard it can be, and how great it can be.
Yeah.
You have emotional highs and emotional lows, and today was one of those days. And today wasn't.
And you have both in the same day.
And today I wasn't exactly burnt out on my children. And this was another topic of that discussion, was I wanted to spend time with you one-on-one, because even after the kids go to bed, me and you either work on business stuff or, we decompress, whether we watch a show together, but we're not really talking, we're not communicating, we're just zoning out.
Yeah.
And
we're turning ourselves off for the first time.
So that was one of your requests, was, hey, maybe can you, when you're feeling that you want time with me, to, elaborate that, not say that you're burnt out or
need a break from our kids.
Need a break from the kids. Typically, because that's what I meant from it. I'm like, hey, I would like to get out of the house with just you. Go do something.
Yeah, I'm craving time with you.
Yes, because I don't get. Yes, we live together and whatnot.
We don't get solo time. We have 2 under 3.
Yeah, exactly. We have an 8-year-old. So, we're always on the go, whether it's to school or daycare or, whatever the case may be, or we have work stuff. And so I was just saying I wanted a date. And I got frustrated because I'm like, how many girls like that spontaneous shit? And I'm like, you know what? That was when you're either single or in a relationship and don't have any fucking kids. Spontaneity is not great when you have kids.
Spontaneity is still good. It's all word choice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's phrasing. You know?
Yeah. So now when I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, I'm going to tell you, hey, I would like a date night. Mm-hmm. Like some one-on-one time. Because we don't get a whole lot of that. Because when we're at home, either Rhett's on top of you, or he's on top of me, or you're holding Arlo, or, we're not, I'm cleaning the house.
How often do you see me not holding a child?
How often do you not see me cleaning?
Right. Like, I always have a child on me, all the time.
I'm always cleaning something or organizing something.
You're OCD.
So.
Or you're holding a child.
So, yeah, it was a very tough conversation, and.
Yeah, I cried a lot in that one.
Yeah.
I, wept at one point. It was weird to feel that, bubble up in me. And I remember distinctly saying that to you. I feel this bubbling. I feel it coming up to the surface. And I even said, potentially I need to go to therapy for this. Because, this just, came up really, really intensely. More than I was expecting it to.
Yeah. So, it's just, I think a lot of different things have led to that conversation. Because more so recently, now that we're doing all this stuff and we're moving and selling houses, and my stress level has been on the rise a little bit and been anxious and unsettled. So we're concentrating now moving forward on word choice. We decided to have a date night tonight and go out and spend some time together and have dinner and do something for us, because I know how important it is as a couple to prioritize our relationship and us, and the children can't come first all the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that just creates a wedge between us, and later on it's going to affect us negatively.
Yeah.
So
it's challenging.
It's all challenging. I mean, you're juggling so many different things. I'm hoping after we move, we get settled in the house, it'll slow down, we'll start getting into routine, But, at the same time, we're moving 3,000 miles away and don't know anything out there, and, we're going to have to find new babysitters, and...
Yeah, we'll have our nanny on speed dial.
Luckily, we'll have some family a little bit closer. Out here, we don't have anybody, so...
Something else we talked about that I think will help us is we realized, and a lot of it had to do with the age Rhett was at, and then I was pregnant, and then Arlo was a newborn, and we are now, Arlo just turned 6 months, which, let's just deep dive for a quick second. Holy fuck, he's 6 months old.
No, blew by.
How is half a year already gone by?
I don't know. It seems like you were just hemorrhaging in the fucking bed.
Right.
At home.
It's crazy, though. I'm like, what? You're our last baby, and, you're already 6 months old. Mm-hmm. And, today he figured out he could, roll multiple times to, get places in the house. And so now he's, rolling all over the floor.
He tried doing a little bit of crawling.
Yeah, he tried doing, slow down. You're the last one. I need to savor it more. But we realized that we never go out to eat with the kids in public. Sit down. We will bring food back to the house. We will get drive-through and eat in the car. But we never take the kids into a restaurant to sit down.
Sounds exhausting.
It does.
We did one time, and I had to leave with Rhett and wait in the truck.
He was a lot younger, though.
Yeah. Well, Arlo's 6 months, so...
Yeah.
Arlo would be fine. We've taken him... Me and you have taken him places.
Yeah, he's third-wheeled our dates before.
But Rhett is a whole different fucking animal. As soon as he's done, and he's ready to go do what Rhett wants to do. And there's a lot of things going on, and, it's hard for him to just sit still.
It's something that we're excited about back east, but we also want to make a conscious effort to try to do more of, is we're excited that, so many places where we're moving to are family-oriented, family-friendly. They even have wineries in Virginia that are kid-friendly and have, big, huge area for the kids to run around and let off steam and play and have fun.
Yeah.
They think about that. We want to attract the whole family here and make this a family event. It's so amazing. But what we talked about was part of why we feel like we never get to like have a date or have time with each other is because we are home a lot, because we currently don't take the kids out really like to eat or anything. Like we'll go out to the aquarium or run errands, go to Lowe's, etc., but to go sit down and enjoy a meal together, our kids aren't used to that. And so we've challenged ourselves to start small. Start with, let's, get somewhere where we'll get fast food or get takeout and go inside and eat real quick, so that we can start to build up, like, practice with Rhett on this is like eating out, and eating out is a normal thing, and this is how we behave when we eat out, and, you can bring a toy to play with at the table when you're done eating.
Yeah.
But, like, start to, because if you think about it, we used to take Enzo out to eat.
Yeah, but it was easier when it was 2-on-1.
Well, yeah.
Now it's 3-on-2. We're outnumbered.
Enzo's really helpful, though.
Yeah, I mean, Enzo will sit there and do whatever. He doesn't. He's at a good age. Like, he's starting to understand his manners, and
I really like this age.
Yeah, I think he's
8.5 has been very.
It's been nice, but what 3, 4 was tough with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
he didn't struggle at 2. He was still. You didn't know him yet, but he was still pretty good. But around 3, he really started to struggle.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Rhett hits it and gets out of it earlier.
That would be great. Otherwise, I'm going to have to keep him in a cage.
Oh my gosh. So, we, said goodbye to Enzo for, the next 5 weeks or 6 weeks or so?
Yeah.
And I was so mad because I was on a Zoom call when you guys left. And so I couldn't, really pause and,
say goodbye.
Say goodbye. And I got teary-eyed. I cry easy, we know this. But I got teary-eyed, and, Enzo did a double take. Because I was like, okay, you leaving? He's like, yeah. And I, put myself on mute and turned my camera off for a second. I was like, okay, I love you, I'm gonna miss you. And I gave him a quick hug. And then, it, hit me. This is the longest I've ever been away from him.
Yeah.
And, tears sprung up in my eyes, and he kind of, was already walking out, and he looked back and, waved goodbye, and then looked back again, because he realized, I was, getting ready to cry. And I was like, oh, I'm going to miss him.
He is a sweet kid.
And it is crazy.
He's annoying. He can be annoying sometimes, but he is a sweet kid.
It's everybody. But it was crazy to realize, this will be the longest I've ever been away from him.
Yeah, I've told you this before. I think he's too good for us. We are horrible because we're not very affectionate people. And Enzo...
You realize that's why we were given 3 kids who are highly affectionate?
Oh, no shit.
Help us be better with that.
I mean, Enzo is a very affectionate person.
Yeah.
And me and you, that was another thing we had to discuss. We had a hard conversation, last week, when I told you...
A couple weeks ago,
I told you that,
Because I talked about, on last week's episode, about how I almost told Enzo I was touched out, but instead I said, you have 30 seconds for the best hug ever.
Yeah, and you've been doing that recently with him.
Yeah.
And it's I think it helps. I think it helps him. It helps you.
I typically do it. If you notice, I do it when I'm about to be like, bro, I'm touched out.
Yeah.
I'll be like, nope, 30 seconds. Come on, let's go.
Let's power through it.
Power through. I can do anything for 30 seconds. I pushed the baby out.
I don't know. It's just all finding, I think we're doing better with finding creative solutions to things. We were talking about Rhett earlier, and about how you can't just tell him, hey, I'm making you this, or hey, we're going to do this. You have to give him options.
But only 2 options.
But only 2 options. Don't give him too many options. Give him 2 options. Say, hey, do you want peanut butter or do you want pasta?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And,
instead of what do you want?
And then he won't break down.
I was like, the other day you came home and I was in the bathtub with him. You kind of looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
And I was like, he wasn't wanting to take a bath, so I made it fun. I said, let's do a bath in Mommy's bath. I'll take a bath with you. And he got, because I started walking to his bathroom to take a bath, and he started losing his shit. And I was like, no, we're just gonna get your shampoo. I said, we're gonna do something special. We're gonna do a bath in Mom's bathtub, the big bathtub. and I'll get in. And he was like, oh, yay!
All excited.
Yeah, and he, like, loved it. And he, like, shampooed his hair. Like, I don't know if he shampoos his hair that much for you himself, but, like, I, like, showed him how to do it, and, like, he, like, shampooed his own hair. Like, I put the shampoo in his hands, and he, like, rubbed it on his head and got all sudsy.
That's cute.
Like, he loved it. But it was just... It started coming back to me, we were talking earlier, it started coming back to me that that's what I used to have to do with Enzo. I had to create option. You know, I'm not telling you no. I'm telling you have A or B.
Yeah, but the problem is you created a whole different monster, because now Enzo gets bored and he's looking for options.
I think that's all kids.
Comes in my office when I'm working, and we built him a schedule, but he'll still come in my office and just stare at me. And I'm like, Enzo, what do you need? You know, I'm working. What's up?
He's all, I just need attention, guys.
Pretty much. Like, what was the other?
I just want to touch base. I'm only 8 years old.
The other day, I was on a meeting or something, and he came in. He was bored as shit. It was in the afternoon. You know, he'd been, you know, hanging out by himself all day because it's summertime and kids can't leave the house. You know, and he came in bored and just kind of stood there. I was on the phone, and I was like, "Go get your Uno cards. You can sit on the floor. I'll play some Uno with you while I'm on this." So he sat there on the floor. We just played Uno while I was at my meeting. I
told him the other day, I think we just have to start doing that. So, like, in my office, there's the guest bed. And he came in, and I was on Zooms and I was working. And I, like, muted myself, and I said, hey, if you want to get your Switch or you want to bring a book in here, I said, you can lay on this bed and read or do your Switch in here and hang out. I just can't talk to you because I have to be on Zooms, but you can be in the same space as me.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm, like, been kind of adamant about getting a nice big comfy chair downstairs in the office.
Yeah.
Because it gives him somewhere to sit and just hang out.
He wants to be in the same space. He doesn't necessarily need...
like, attention and to talk to you or anything like that. He just wants to be in the same area you're in. So I think that's kind of important. Like, at home, it's going to... I mean, we're moving into a townhome that's 4 fucking stories, you know? I mean, it's going to be a lot of separation. So
lots of stairs.
So I'm like, my office is on the first floor all the way at the bottom, and that's the only thing that's down there.
My butt's gonna look so good.
I know, right? My calves will look nice.
Fuck yeah, 6 months of those stairs, good to go.
But anyway,
he's a good kid. He's trying next couple days. He's trying mixed martial arts class.
Is she starting this week?
Yeah, he has a trial to see if he likes it.
Nice.
This week. But we found there's a mixed martial arts studio in Arizona that they also have 10 miles from our house in Virginia. And you can pay one membership and go to any gym nationwide that they have.
That's awesome.
So if he enjoys it, we could sign him up and he can go when he's out here.
And then he can go when he's out there.
And then he can go when he's out with us. And they can go up to 3 times a week. I don't know that when he's out here he'll be able to go that frequently, but like when we have him,
maybe out there he will.
When we have him, especially because he's going to be like virtual school, we absolutely could try to make that work to accommodate 3 times a week, so he could just really like deep dive into mixed martial arts if he likes it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think he'll like it.
I think it would just be something consistent to do at both locations, which would be nice.
Yeah.
To create a little bit of consistency.
I agree. We're really going to have to do up his room so he feels at home, though.
Yeah.
Make it really comfortable for him.
I've been debating, too. I think we need to eventually start to have conversation about, like, do we want to get him, like, a tablet or, like, a very, like, restricted phone or something so that he can text or call the other parent whenever he wants to.
Yeah, potentially.
I know, like, some people, I think your sister, she has, like, her daughters have, like, a tablet they can text their mom on.
That might be better.
And so I want to talk with her and ask her, like, specifically what she has for that, to be able to do that. Because I think that would be a good option to look into.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I want him to be able to, like, text or call whenever he wants to.
Agreed.
I think it'll be good. Also, tell our audience how cute it is with Rhett and Arlo recently.
Yeah, I think they're really coming into kind of their own. For a long time, Rhett was very unsure about Arlo because he all of a sudden was the new baby and the new, he took all the attention and
Mom was being shared.
Yeah, Mom was being shared. And I don't think he liked that. There was some jealousy going on there. But now he's really starting to build and create a bond with Arlo. and I think Arlo loves it. Arlo's a fucking sweetheart. Like, he really is. He's like the easiest baby. Like,
he reminds me so much of Enzo. Enzo's like a sweetheart, you know, and like so much love.
Rhett the terror, and then we got Arlo, and Arlo just sits there like a log, like a bump on a log, and just fucking...
But he smiles and giggles at everything.
Yeah, I just need food and diaper, and the weirdest thing is that he loves his stroller.
He loves his stroller with a passion.
We literally, when he starts getting cranky, we put him in a stroller and just walk him around in the house.
Yeah, he loves it. Calms down.
It's his place. He's got his little toys. He plays with his toes. He looks around.
He can see us.
It's the most interesting thing in the world. But he really...
So Rhett gets in his face now and like shakes his head and goes...
Yep.
And like smiles and tries to like rub his nose on his face. And Arlo gets the biggest smile and then grabs his curly hair. Because Arlo loves to grab Rhett's hair like as hard as he can. And Rhett dies laughing and then yanks his head back and then puts it back for Arlo to grab it again. It's so cute.
Yeah, I really hope that they have a very strong bond, you know, as brothers. I mean, because they're not that far off in age.
Mm-mm.
So.
I feel like Arlo is really starting to, like, wake up into his own personality.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's so weird going from Rhett as a baby to Arlo. Because Rhett was, and it wasn't completely Rhett's fault. Like, Rhett had the gut issues for 6-8 months. I mean, he was just uncomfortable all the time.
Yeah.
But
Arlo's a really good baby. You mentioned it the other day. You're like, Arlo has like some magic spell on you.
Oh, he does. I mean, you're obsessed with him.
Yeah. He's a good baby. And he's the last baby.
Yeah.
And he's like double rainbow baby.
Yeah.
He's got a lot. I always said, like, I think he's just gonna, even when I was pregnant, I was like, I feel like he's just gonna have like an extra sprinkle of goodness in him because of like bringing joy after sorrow. You know, he's gonna have an extra little love. And he's lived up to that. He's so sweet.
Yeah.
Doesn't like other people.
Nope. Terrified of other people, especially my mom.
Oh my gosh. Can we shout out our pediatrician real quick?
Yeah.
If you're in Arizona, All-Star Pediatrics, Dr. Milius is fucking amazing. And I'm so sad we are leaving him and have to find a new pediatrician. He's so good. So, Rhett was sick this week. That was this week.
Yeah.
Rhett was sick this past week. Got, like, really sick. Like,
it was kind of scary.
It was scary. So, Rhett went from, like, 0 to, like, real sick real quick. We
still don't even know what it was.
No, they ended up giving him a Z-Pack because, like, he spiked. At first, we're like, maybe he's teething, but then he spiked a really high fever. Like, the forehead thermometer said, like, 105 or something, and I was like, there's no fucking way. So I got Arlo's, like, butt thermometer and did, like, a rectal temp on Rhett.
Still 104.
And he was, like, 103.8. And I was like, oh. And that was an hour and a half after Tylenol and, like, 3 hours after Motrin.
Yep.
I was like, there's no fucking way. Like, this kid's gonna have a fever seizure, all this stuff you get paranoid about. So, we had to lay him down for a nap because he was due for a nap and he was exhausted. And I was like, I really don't want him napping in his crib because I don't feel comfortable leaving him alone because his fever is way too high. It's not coming down with Tylenol Motrin. Like, I need to be with him. And so I took him into our room and, like, laid him down on our bed. And, like, this child has never, since he was, like, 3 months old, he's never slept with us.
No.
And so I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. But the dude was so sick. So I laid him down on our bed and, like, just laid down next to him and, like, snuggled up to him. And he kind of, like, chatted for a while and kept looking at me and smiling. And then he finally just snuggled up and just passed out. And he slept for, like, what, 2 hours?
Yeah.
Hour and a half? Woke up once or twice, a little bit fussy, and then went back to sleep. But we went and saw the pediatrician. And Milius came in, and Rhett, you know, he was like, come here. And, like, Rhett just walked over to him and, like, started, like, getting a little fussy. Like, he was going to start crying. And Milius picks him up and sits him on his lap and just snuggles him and just holds him and like pats his back and is like, it's okay, buddy. Like, I know you don't feel good. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get you feeling better. And just comforted him. Like, what doctor does that?
Well, and it does that with Arlo, too, when he's getting shots.
Yeah, he did with Arlo. He wasn't even getting shots. He was just mad because he's stranger danger phase right now.
Yeah.
But Arlo, so we were there with Rhett on...
he was mad about the crinkle paper.
Oh, yeah. So we were there with Rhett on, I don't know, Monday, I think? And then we were there on Thursday with Arlo for his 6-month appointment. So I was like, I'm going to see you twice in 1 week, sir. And yeah, Arlo, like, lost his mind at the crinkle paper. And Milius picked up Arlo and just held him and, like...
In all fairness, that crinkle paper sucks.
Yes. Like, bounced him and, like, walked him around the room a little bit and, like, patted his back and was just like, hey, like, you're safe, you're okay, everything's okay. Like, I just watched that and I'm like, man.
Reminded me of, like, Patch Adams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just fantastic bedside
Just obviously
manner.
loves kids.
Loves kids. Fantastic bedside manner. I could not recommend him enough. Like, I'm so sad to have to try to find somebody else that's not going to probably live up to his standards.
Yeah.
But, just amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're finishing up our date night, and now we got to get home to the kids, so...
We do. We
really appreciate everybody that listens to us, and...
Thank you so much for listening. Great. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.